every time that I try to film now. I have a naked man behind me, and I appreciate it because I'm obsessed with Michelangelo and Da Vinci. Also, I have Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man here. Like, I've got symbology behind everything in every different nugget of my room just because I'm a little bit of a nerd. So yeah, if you are confused as to why I've got a willy, this is Michelangelo's David, and it's a 1,000-piece jigsaw. And because it took so long to complete, I felt like it was too much of a shame to take it apart. So instead, I framed it. How have I reached this in my life where I'm framing 1,000-piece jigsaws of that? I mean, I'm peaking, to say the least. Breaking news. Wales lockdown at midnight as Christmas plans cut. The whole of Wales will be placed under lockdown from midnight with festive plans cancelled all but for Christmas Day. The changes mean that a Wales-wide lockdown, which was due to come into effect on the 28th of December, has been brought forward at midnight tonight. All of Wales will be placed under the highest level of lockdown, level 4, with all but essential shops closed and people being told to stay home. What do you say at this point? What is there left to be said? This is a very low cut top. Jesus Christ, flashing the titties of what I have. Hi everyone, hi. We're back at it again. My room is a pigsty and covered in bags and disorganisation. I'm moving out again. If you watched last week's vlog, it's not last week's, it was last year's. If you watched the previous video that I uploaded on my YouTube channel, which was far too long ago, you would be aware that I moved out of my university accommodation, came back home, and then went on the hefty process of trying to find a new place to live within about 2 weeks. I've got somewhere. It hasn't been verified though, so I'm packing, hoping that I actually go and they have a room available for me, because otherwise that'll be a little bit awkward. But it's Monday today, moving out again on Wednesday. Hopefully we last a little bit longer this time, and my head is screwed on a little bit tighter, so yes, cheers to that. Cheers to a little bit of optimism, because I've been in a very pessimistic, negative mindset recently, and we want to change that around, because we can't control the things that we can't control. So let's stop even trying. Also, not that you actually probably care, I got new glasses. Going to the opticians is like going to the dentist. Like, you just forget that they exist, and then you get like a letter saying, hey, it's been over 2 years. And I was like, ah, that could be the reason why I've been having sufficient migraines, and probably the glasses that I was wearing previously just weren't my prescription. They weren't, bloody hell, like my eyesight has gone downhill. But I've got 2 new glasses, and these are one of them, and they're a bit out of my comfort zone, but I really like them. Yeah, but they're a bit different, a bit retro, a bit unique. Do you like them? Okay. But yeah, just wanted to say hi, just wanted to say Happy New Year, Crappy New Year, whatever. What a fucking shit show it's been. And yeah, we're back at it again, packing. Cheers to that. So I guess now this is all to be packed away again. I've literally organised my whole life over the past few weeks around this move, adjusted everything, and now it's not even happening. Over the past few weeks I've literally just planned and organised and bought new stuff and everything, and now it's not happening. And I know I'm in a very privileged situation in the sense that I do have a home, I do have a safe space, I do have the availability of living at home, but fucking hell, either way, it's annoying and aggravating, and university is going to be strictly online. I'm doing a relatively practical course, and it just doesn't seem to make sense half the time. We're still getting really sarcastic and really inconsiderate emails from lecturers. You know, a few of them being so kind-hearted and understanding and, you know, empathetic in terms of how much this is affecting us, not only academically but emotionally and psychologically. But then there's a handful of other people that don't want to take those into considerations and don't want to take those massive overriding factors into the consideration because they don't have an empathetic like fragment within their body. And this generation is getting destroyed. Totally.
You have more power than you might be giving yourself credit for. And if you have something that's going on in your life right now that's challenging or painful, it's just a reminder to take a little bit better care of yourself. Because you're worth it. You can have this feeling anytime you choose.
Very overexposed. I look so pale. Ah! I got up relatively early today to get my makeup done, my hair done, because ultimately when I do, I immediately feel a lot more productive, just because the past few days I haven't been feeling very well, and just have looked like a toe. And when I look like a toe, my motivation to complete anything is severely limited. So today I'm trying to change that approach. But I just wanted to show you this. This is just a letter that my little sister dropped off to me just now. How bloody sweet. I can read that. I've just covered her name. It's amazing because sometimes they can be absolute satans and sometimes they can be like the most sweet kiss ass kind of people. But yeah, that got me smiling this morning, so that's a positive. I just got to start taking gratitude in the small things, because that's the only thing that can really keep us going nowadays. I got myself a snazzy new tripod. I feel like the other one was starting to break apart because the ball sockets, you're not even going to see it because you were attached to it, but the ball sockets on the tripods generally kind of weaken, and because you mold them into different shapes, you make them grab onto different objects to stabilize, it just got very weak very quickly. So I've treated myself to a new tripod, and it's looking a lot more durable this time. But anyway, rather than my ramble, I'm terribly sorry I'm still in my pajamas. What I do now at the beginning of every day is write a lot of lists. My brain is generally in a state of overthinking and, you know, rewiring all the different things I need to do, and stressing and worrying and panicking and putting all these things in place. So once I've got it on physical paper, I immediately feel a lot more calm, because it means that I'm in a lot more control, and control is something that I need to survive. I'm just going to spend a little bit making a list of everything that I want to achieve today and the rest of the week. Not anything, I say that and I sound very Instagram influencer. I want to, you know, go on a fasted 6-hour walk. No, what I want to achieve, I want to finish my science for university. I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to take my dogs out. I need to organise unpacking still, I need to do this, do that, and I need to get my head in shape. because I was obviously expecting to live a far different lifestyle currently than I am now, with the developments. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead, and every year it's an exciting time. For the past 3 years I sound like such a freaking nerd, I know, but I've written bullet journals and they have literally been my lifesaver. This was last year's, and it's not just a calendar base, it's more with, you know, I'll put my, oh god, my lifts, my podcast episodes, I've got diary entries, I've got doodles, so it's relatively therapeutic, random bits like that just to, you know, I don't know, habit trackers sometimes if I'm bothered, and then I'll do, I don't know, like inspirations for podcasts and notes. So it's just a bit of everything, just a bit of a brain dump. So that's been useful for like when I'm in my more anxious tendencies. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead, sort out this week because everything's a little bit up in the air. So if I'm able to control something, if I'm able to set somewhat of a routine, that is positive. I can't even begin to describe to you how much of a false representation my face is of what I've been looking like during the past few months of quarantine and lockdown. Anyway, I just wanted to have a brief chat and a brief discussion about the current circumstances. Yes, I do want to limit how much I speak about the lockdown situation on my channel, just because I know people like to come here for an escape, and I know that's why I go to YouTube, is for the escape mechanism, and we don't want to consistently be bombarded with this information that is bringing us down. But I just wanted to raise awareness about a particular element within this lockdown and how unfortunate some circumstances have been. I know I'm fortunate, and I know there are a lot of other people in worse circumstances than myself and a lot of other people, but I just wanted to use this time to discuss a particular thing. I came across this tweet and I felt like I had to read it out. I will obviously say, so this is by Kira Louise, and what she explains is the definition of what we're all going through during this university experience. In case anybody was wondering how it looked or felt to be like a university student during the pandemic, it looks like this. I'm exhausted and drained. I've spent my afternoons crying into a Terry chocolate orange just because I have received not a single bit of support since the university being moved online in March. Since September, we have been submitted 3 assignments and received absolutely no feedback, and I have another due in a week. Please tell me how I'm supposed to improve or better my work with absolutely zero feedback, apart from a few sarcastic emails from lecturers telling us to figure it out. University students are expected to produce the same standard of work, even though circumstances have changed and the level of teaching is nowhere near the same standards it would be if it was in person, all while expecting to pay over £9,000 for this course, despite the fact that it's nowhere near the quality it should be, nor forgetting the thousands of pounds of rent this year. A lot of people are paying rent. A lot of people are paying for rent where they are not living, and universities are still making them pay. So we're not only paying for inadequate education, we're paying for, you know, accommodation that is not being filled. You know, there's an overwhelming lack of consideration when it comes to the discussion of mental health, and the statistics and the rising numbers of people that are severely struggling with their mental health, with depression, with anxiety, with I don't know what I'm trying, and I know my voice isn't going to be that much of benefit, but I just kind of wanted to use this platform to people to acknowledge how difficult the circumstance is for everyone, and particularly for students, just because we're in such a foreign circumstance and we're not getting the consideration, we're not getting the adequate support, we're left in the dark. We don't know what to do. You're literally second guessing yourself every bloody minute because you're convinced you're doing something wrong. Because you're not getting the support, you're not getting, you know, the correct kind of communication. You know, I'm fortunate that I do have a good relationship with, you know, 2 of the people from my university, so I know from like some sections I'm okay, but for the majority of the other sections, all the contact you get with you know, the lecturers is a PowerPoint presentation that they pre-recorded for an hour. It's just like you're watching a YouTube video for £9,000, and it's bloody ridiculous. And it's a lack of consideration for mental health, the last minute announcements for everything, the closing the libraries, the feeling isolated, the lack of consideration in how this has affected student ability to sit exams and write essays, and there's no net safety this year, and it's such a financial burden. So, oh yeah, and international students unable to return, like, what? And retrospectively, it's a very young age group that are being, you know, having such a detrimental effect. It's not only the university students, it's the primary school students, the high school students, GCSEs, it's A-levels, it's all the examinations that are being totally destroyed, and we're left in the dark and we're clueless. But throughout society, we've been pressured to know that these exams, these, you know, whole education is so detrimental and so focused for our future. And yet we're having that stripped away from us. So the generation is getting destroyed. You know, we're the ones receiving such a shit stick, and yet still have the pressure to perform optimally, to succeed, to achieve. Whereas our mental health is getting destroyed. We're not getting the consideration and the support that we require. And do you know what I mean? So yeah, I've got university starting next week, and it's totally a Zoom based, Microsoft Team based education. Yeah, it's difficult. You say, let's just hope it changes soon, let's just hope in the next few months we'll have our freedom, let's just hope we'll return back to a new normality and have the appropriate resources to continue education successfully. Whereas that's what we've been hoping for the past year, and it's not changed. But for a positive spin, look how bloody beautiful that is today. Although the weather forecast says that it's currently -3. So I'm gonna wait for a few hours until it gets into the afternoon to take my dogs out, because I don't want to freeze my tits off in the meantime.